Well, President Trump tackles education at the federal level. Our next guest, Kimberly Klacik, looks to improve things a little closer to home. Klacik is running to flip the late Congressman Elijah Cummings' district red this November, and she joins us now. Kimberly, thank you very much for joining us. So, some pretty big news since the last time we had you on the show. You had a pretty big victory last week. Just tell our viewers a little bit what about that victory means to you.
It means everything, but you know what it really means in a grand scheme of things is that people are ready for a change. So I was so excited. We did win the primary, beat 7 other Republicans, some of them that have run for that seat before. And then on the Democratic side, there were 24 that ran to that race. And they chose Kwasi Mfume, who actually had the seat prior to Congressman Cummings when he took it over in 1996. So I'm looking at it like this. If you like what you had before, which I don't think people do, you'll choose him. But if you want something different, if you want accountability and transparency, hopefully everyone will vote for me.
And I think it's also worth pointing out that the widow of Elijah Cummings, she was also in that primary and she did not get the nomination. So do you think that's a little bit of an inference to the idea that maybe people are looking for change, that they don't want to kind of continue the norm of what's been going on right now, and especially don't want going back to something that they had prior?
Absolutely. Congressman Cummings, his widow, Maya Rockeymoore Cummings, she ran on basically continuing his legacy. And I don't think people want that. They know the education system is bad. They know that the schools need so much more funding, or they need to find the funding that people have been putting in there. It never makes it to the schools. And then also they know that the crime and violence is really bad. For 5 years in a row, we went over 300 murders. Just last year, we did over 700 shootings, carjackings. They're sky high. People do not want the same. And so I don't know what she meant by running on his legacy, but people know that they do not want what's going on there today.
And anyone who's followed your campaign, too, they know that it's very much so a grassroots type of on-the-ground type of movement. I mean, you've done different cleanups throughout the city of Baltimore. You've gone to all the places where there's just dilapidated housing. Of course, it's gotten some backlash from some of your critics. We've talked about that extensively on this program before. But you also, as of recently, have been talking that the money is not going into the school system as well, particularly the public school system. What can you speak a little bit about what needs to be done in order to improve the schools in Baltimore?
Yeah, so I touched a little bit on it this afternoon on my Twitter page. But apparently, and this is something that I've been finding out recently, the kids in Baltimore City schools haven't been able to drink out of their water fountains since 2007. And that is because of an issue with the lead in the water and because of the pipes. So there's a lot of issues, not just the fact that they don't have heat and air conditioning in so many, but also now the water issues. And I don't think people realize that it's even going on a national level. People locally know it's going on, but no one has been raising the flags about it. And so also the results. I mean, there's many kids that graduate from Baltimore City high schools that can't do basic math or read or write, and they're not going on to college or getting any jobs, going straight from high school to the workforce. And we have very little schools that are doing vocational programs so that they can actually learn a trade and go into the workforce and have some kind of skill. So there's a lot of things that need to be handled, and I think that contributes to the crime and violence on the ground. I mean, if you have kids that graduate from high school or can't even graduate from high school, what do you expect them to do?
I mean, that is just startling to hear. I mean, it's something I still can't believe that what's going on in Flint is an issue. I mean, that seems like it should be a bipartisan thing when people can't get drinking water, and especially, as you were saying, too, when it's in schools as well. I mean, that's something that should cut through party lines, and it kind of speaks a little bit about where the state of politics is right now. So you can speak about a little bit as to Baltimore. What is the issue there? Is it incompetence? Is it corruption? Why can't they get problems fixed?
Yeah, I think it's one-party rule. That mob rule fuels corruption, So we saw not too long ago our mayor, she was indicted on charges of corruption because she had this scandal with her Healthy Holly books, basically pay to play, right? She was asking people to buy her Healthy Holly books in order to get cities that were granted by this contracts that were granted by the city. And she did that, and it's kind of like an exclusive club. And so here they are, the elites, they're kind of running the city, and they're basically funneling all the money to themselves and their friends, but it never gets to the actual problems and the issues. And so here they go and they apply for federal grants. Congressman Cummings actually did a great job on making sure federal money did get to Baltimore, but he never followed up on where it went and the results of what the impact should have been. And so people need to understand that there needs to be someone in office that can not only get the money there, but actually track the money in the long run and help people understand this is what's going on, this is where it was supposed to be implemented, and this is why it was not. And there was a lot of people stepping down from their offices. Cheryl Glenn, she was a delegate. She just stepped down also because of a pay-to-play scandal that she had. And there's going to be a lot of people falling. I think it's going to be like dominoes. It's a domino effect because people have been doing this for years, for decades.
Yeah. And it's something, too, where I think people may be looking for change. And I think your primary victory kind of shows that may be a testament to the idea that that is what people want. For our viewers, though, if you want to find out more about her campaign, it's kimkforcongress.com. Kimberly Klacik, congratulations once again, and thank you for joining us.